Here's the situation. You want to help someone who has Ebola, but you also fear for your own health for many reasons. So you want protection. So if available, you want to use personal protective equipment. You learn to use it. You put it on with help from a supervisor. This takes about 20 minutes. Then you use it maybe for 40 minutes only because it's so hot inside. Then you take it off again with help from a supervisor so that you don't contaminate yourself. This last step takes maybe half an hour. So you see, not many people available to treat people who are sick with Ebola, and lots of their time is spent in protection. So it's not an ideal situation. This is the reason why people all over the world are looking for alternatives. It makes sense to try and improve what's currently in use. Make the suits easier to put on, to refrigerate them, and to make them safer to take off. But there's another possibility. We can try to invent new protective equipment. This particular idea has never been tested, so it's quite possible it's not a good one. Just in case, please don't use it. But maybe we can develop it in the open and move it forward a bit and see if it makes sense. If it doesn't, we have only lost our own time. This particular possibility is called an excubator. You know about incubators, a transparent box with a baby inside so that the baby is kept warm. You have sleeves with gloves and you can handle the baby safely without giving her your germs. That's an incubator. Now an excubator, we stand inside it and the sleeves with gloves stick out. So with that notion, what I did was I looked for a big cardboard box the size of a refrigerator. I cut a back door in order to get inside. I cut a front window so I would be able to look outside, and I found it wasn't very heavy. I could move it easily just using my two hands. So the first thing is we need a back door. We can put handles inside the box on the right and on the left. That way we can grab the handles, pull up the box and walk towards the patient's bed. Now the problems start to appear. How do we protect our feet? Because we still need to walk. One possibility is we could have a platform at the bottom of the box. On top of that platform we could have a frame. Inside that frame there would be a pair of sandals. Now we could put a sheet of adhesive plastic below the sandals and another sheet of adhesive plastic above the sandals, so that both sheets would be glued to each other and the sandals would stay sort of sandwiched inside. Now the straps of the sandals would be left outside the plastic. That way we'd place our feet on top of the sandals, we would tie the straps, and we'd be able to walk tiny step by tiny step towards the patient. Could this work? We need to try. I haven't tested it yet. It's just an idea. Maybe you have better ideas. Now, the excubator also has an apron bag for supplies. I used to call it a marsupial bag, just like kangaroos. Maybe, but only if it is safe, we could have a slot inside the box to fill the bag from inside. But maybe we will not find a safe way to do that, and maybe it's not a good idea at all, and we just have to drop it. If it doesn't work, just leave it out. Finally, we may need the box to be airtight. This is very important, of course. What could we do? I don't know. I think we could have a chimney with a filter and maybe a fan or something like that. If we're going to develop this, what we need to do is to check what level of protection is needed and what is possible, and see if the whole idea has any merit at all. We need experts to check this. It's not only people making things up. Anyway, here's the full sequence as I sort of try to imagine it. You come in through the back door, you shut it, you step on the sandals, you tie them, you grab the handles, you slowly walk towards the patient. Now, there are limitations to what we might be able to do. We cannot bend over or move the patient, but we can do other things. We can take our time. We can do oral rehydration, 1 spoonful at a time, for maybe a long time, more than 40 minutes. We can measure the temperature of the patient. Maybe we can insert intravenous fluids. If we have enough arm range, we have to test that. And certainly we can adjust intravenous fluids, because if it is within reach, it's a very simple action, and we can do that quickly. We can also just spend time with the person, if it is a relative, a family member, and we can have a chat. Also, we can have a stethoscope with a bell outside and earplugs inside. I don't know, maybe this helps us diagnose patients who have another disease, say malaria, not Ebola, in a country where there is both malaria and Ebola. We can also attend a funeral if this box is culturally sensitive, which we don't know. We would have to ask people in each place and ask, okay, what does the family want? We can also use it in non-healthcare settings, etc. I don't know. Maybe this doesn't help in many important situations, but maybe it helps in some situations. So it would be a matter of looking at needs and what kind of needs this solves. If it doesn't solve any need, just drop the idea, of course. Okay, so the very first thing we would need to do is to try and develop the excavators to make it safe. We need the box to be wide enough so that it doesn't fall to the sides. We need to look into protection and test it. We need to look into the design for the arms. There are a few ideas for that. For the feet and for every other module, we can work in parallel and put whatever we find over at the wiki, which is www.apropedia.org/excubator. Okay, also, if you're interested in the wider picture, there is another page, which is apropedia.org/Ebola, where there is a sequence to develop open hardware, appropriate hardware that anyone can use for this kind of situation, which of course is tricky, because this is life and death and not just videos on the internet. It's not like, I don't know, using a hammer. You can hurt your fingers, but this is more dangerous. So please take lots of care. See if you can help with this or other projects. Thank you.